Before today's video starts, I'd just like to remind you to take a moment to subscribe if you enjoy my content and the stuff I create. It helps me out tremendously, and I'm always grateful for the support I get in all my videos. I hope you enjoy it. The side-scrolling 2D Mario games were a massive phenomenon dating all the way back to the year 1985 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The gameplay systems done here were absolutely revolutionary. I mean, going from left to right? Who would have thought of that? That's why Nintendo took this as an opportunity to hone their craft and create a mascot that would become a prevalent figure in the gaming space. Each new entry in the Mario franchise got bigger and therefore better. Doki Doki Panic Sorry, I mean, Super Mario Bros. 2 was just the tip of the iceberg. The games just kept getting pumped out in an all-new fashion, having newly designed gameplay mechanics, graphics, music, everything. That was until the release of Super Mario 64. Mario's first foray into the 3D landscape not only took the world by storm, but kinda shined the light away from the game's roots as a 2D platformer. Nintendo stopped making new 2D Mario games. After the release of Super Mario Land 2, they just kinda opted to keep porting enhanced versions of the older games to the Game Boy Advance. These versions aren't bad, but people were craving a new 2D game that wouldn't come for another 14 years. I guess they really wanted to focus on developing Mario in 3D to try and perfect it instead of spending all their resources on making a new side-scrolling game. I say that, but they also released Super Mario Sunshine, and that game is one of the buggiest games they've ever made. That game is perfect, but in a completely different way. A way that wasn't ever intended by the developers. As the years went by without a new game, we were starved. The re-releases of Super Mario Bros. 2 were getting to us, but that was until... Whoa guys, look! Nintendo's third pillar console that totally wasn't a successor to the Game Boy. You can tell because it has a GBA slot at the bottom. This piece of hardware here once again took the world by storm in 2004, but it wasn't until 2006 that a brand new Mario game for their brand new system would actually be released. The thing launched with Super Mario 64 DS. That new game that they made was titled New Super Mario Bros. The general consensus at the time was that this game was one of the greatest 2D platforms ever made. I believe this game should still hold that same status, but because of the games that followed it, New Super Mario Bros. DS had its reputation tarnished. I won't be comparing the game to the other New Super games as I want to judge this game on its own 2 feet. So everything you're going to be hearing today is strictly on New Super Mario Bros. DS, nothing else. Everything about this game was looking just incredible. New art style, new power-ups, new worlds, new movement options, and in Mario fashion, awesome new music. This game was truly a new Super Mario Bros. For the newer generation. Move over, Grandpa. This is my Mario game, not yours. As per usual, we have my original copy of the game here. Yep, it's 18 years old alright, almost old enough to drink. Can't wait to sit down and share a couple beers with my DS game. I'm just joking, I swear. I'd never have a drink with an inanimate object. No beer for you. You're too young. You just get water. Since I don't have any way to currently record gameplay off my 3DS, I will be playing it through the Virtual Console release on my Wii U. Yep, that's right. Let's dust off this thing and get to playing. The new Super Mario Bros. Menu has a few options. Do I play the main story or... Gotcha. Yeah, I think I like the minigames. These are taken from Super Mario 64 DS, but I don't care. These are amazing minigames that deserve to be praised. Luigi's Casino is awesome. Too bad the slots have been removed, but I still have other forms of gambling. Whoa. Wanted? I absolutely love this minigame. Only one looking for Luigi since he's the hardest one. I wish I could pick Luigi only mode. I firmly believe that Nintendo could have just sold these minigames on their own later down the line as DSiWare or something, since they put them in multiple games, but they never did. I'll always be surprised by that no matter how much time passes. Holy fuck, did you know the new Super Mario Bros. Minigames could have been released on their own but never were? Anyone else remember download play? You know, when you only needed one copy of the game and could play specific modes with friends who actually had the cartridge? Good times. Good times. The download play portion was always my favorite part of this game. The Mario vs. Luigi mode is one of the greatest modes in a Mario game they've ever made. It's very simple, but addicting as fuck. You just collect these big stars that spawn and are able to annihilate your bro to steal their stars. Once one person collects them all, they win. This game has tons of stages, weird mechanics, you name it, this mode probably has it. I haven't played it in 15 years, so I'm not exactly sure what power-ups are available, but I'm sure all of them are. The music for this mode is absolutely incredible. Oh my lord, I love the theme for it so much. There are several different themes, but I particularly love the Overworld theme the most. An absolute masterpiece of composition here. Well, I mean, I guess there's an options button, but that's not important. Let's move on to the actual meat and potatoes of this thing. Just like every other Mario game, Peach's castle is getting bombed, so Mario leaves to check it out, and she gets kidnapped by Bowser Jr. Fun little fact, Toadsworth is spinning in the background. Bunch of tiny Toadsworths. Hate that man. The world map is very simplistic in a good way. It tells you what's going on, exactly what needs to be done, and in a simple, effective way. Also, the DS probably couldn't handle more than this, so I can cut it some slack. There are a great number of highlights for the world map designs despite being limited to this archaic piece of technology that I believe stand out really well. My personal favorites are between the Poisonous Forest and Snow Worlds and World 8. I love the fact World 8 makes you think you're almost done, but then halfway through, more shit just pops up out of the lava, adding more levels to play through. Despite those being the ones I love the most, the rest are all just amazing and have a very adventurous feel to them. Except for the Cloud World. I don't even know what to say about that. You're just in a cloud. That's pretty much it. There are these mushroom houses that appear throughout your journey that provide you with different power-ups. You can also use the star coins you collect to open up shortcuts or to other levels you have yet to experience. Speaking of star coins, something you can do with them besides purchasing shortcuts is customize the user interface. You have a plethora of different options to choose from, like NES Mario, and Power Stars. Not much choice here, but it's the thought that counts. The fact you're even able to do this in the first place is awesome. I love it so much. Because I'm so retro, I rock the NES Mario head. Man, that's retro. This game doesn't offer many options in terms of playable characters, and as a matter of fact, it's not very hard to guess what characters are playable here, but in case you need the reminder, it's Luigi. Luigi is our superstar second and only playable character. That's awesome, right? I always love when I'm given the option to play as Luigi. He's the superior brother. No, I'm not nuts. It's just factual information. Mario's dead. This is New Super Luigi DS. Hopping into our first level, we are greeted with the really nice scenery of Princess Peach's castle in the background. Not sure how it's still standing after being bombed, but it doesn't have to make sense. Yep, this is a New Super Mario Bros. It plays like Mario, feels like Mario. Yep, I think this is Mario. I don't want to undermine just how amazing all this is, because the game feels absolutely incredible to control. The newest addition of things like wall jumping, ground pounding, and triple jumps all make the game feel and play much more akin to that of a 3D Mario game. I guess you could say this game is kinda like a 3D Mario game in a sense. Sorry, I meant 2.5D. That's the term, right? You'd think that basic things like those wouldn't really matter all that much in a 2D landscape, but they change the gameplay drastically. The simple addition of these new moves really changes the versatility of the gameplay. Even something really small like a triple jump just adds so much to something like a speedrun. You can chain together these bad boys like it's nobody's business, and the only thing stopping you is this shitty Goomba in your way. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I absolutely love this game's movement. It is just so satisfying to pull off some insane moves and try and beat a level as fast as possible. I would kinda wish they put the long jump in here, but I think that'd be too over the top. This game introduces 3 new gimmick power-ups as well as bringing back the old ones we all know and love. The mini mushroom gets its first appearance ever in this game. It does what you expect. Makes you tiny. You're also one hit, which kinda sucks. You also become the one and only Jesus Christ. Walking on water is such a weird decision to put in a power-up. It's extremely situational and doesn't provide almost any benefit whatsoever. Once you stop running, you go back in the water anyways. There isn't really a point to it besides the fact they did it because they can. The only thing about the mini mushroom that is actually kinda cool is that it rewards you for beating 2 world castles with it. You only technically have to play through 6 worlds, with 2 separate ones being completely optional. I love the rewarding aspect of this. It's really hard to use a mini mushroom the entire time and beat the boss with it, so being given more content to play around with is just so awesome. Then we have the mega mushroom. It's sorta done the same thing in every game it's been in, just makes you big for a limited amount of time and you can destroy everything in your path. If you have a thing for people who are giants for 30 seconds, then I've got just a power up for you. I don't know, I don't have as much fondness for this thing as I did back in the day. It's still cool, but I don't feel like I really want to use it all that much. It's either that thing, or the holy grail of power-ups, the blue shell. This thing can either be awesome or really fucking awful. If you run for too long, Mario will dip into a shell, turning him full Koopa. This power-up gives you the power fantasy you always wanted. You kill everyone in your way, even yourself. The lack of control will kill you more than any enemy will. You bounce off everything because you're a Koopa. I love this power-up and will defend it until the day I die. This is the hill I will die on. I don't care if the thing controls poorly. I always get so excited whenever I see it that I just can't help myself. If it were possible, I'd beat the whole game inside the shell. That's how much I love this thing. I love all these power-ups, but when looking at them from a purely mechanical perspective, the only really interesting one to me is the blue shell. I get to live out my dream of being a turtle. It also stands out from all the other ones because it's only been in this game and stayed there. Let's hope they bring this hidden gem back one day. The level designs in this game are absolutely amazing and feel filled to the brim with creativity. The levels don't feel empty whatsoever and the length of them are just perfect. Perfect 10. The idea of this game having bad levels just doesn't make any sense, at least in my opinion. World 6 is some of my favorite levels. I love the mechanic where Mario shuffles along walls. Is it weird for someone to enjoy that? I haven't heard anyone say they hated it, so I'm not sure it's normal, I hope. As mentioned earlier, this game has these gold coins in each level known as star coins. 3 of them are hidden throughout every level and are useful for plenty of things on the world map. I like the star coins, but it's not like the game really needs it. It's just a collectible to give completionists something to work towards. This game does lack a special world, which is a bit of a bummer, but it makes up for it with the sheer number of minigames and modes you can play with outside of the game. The only levels I even disliked the tiniest amount were the water levels, solely because of how slow they are. Oh, now that I think about it, I'm gonna change my level rating from a 10 to a 9. You know how people generally say they don't like auto-scrollers or water levels in 2D platformers? But what if they took the things people hated the most and combined them into a singular level? Make the level last as long as humanly possible. Oh, and throw in the fucking Unagi from Super Mario 64. Make them live in fear. At least the music is good. It's very relaxing. For a game that has very upbeat and cheery music throughout the entire thing, the water music sure is a completely different vibe. It's not a bad thing. It's actually one of my favorite video game tracks. That and the castle theme. Instead of a generic theme, we get an actual badass one. Along with this, we get the badass bosses. These are definitely some of the greatest bosses in the entire 2D Mario franchise. It's not really saying something, but you get the idea. Instead of fighting the Koopalings, we get some original bosses. The mid-castles are just your typical fights with Bowser Jr., which is still awesome, but they aren't the hardest thing ever. Giant Goomba, anyone? Goomba Stomp. I absolutely love these bosses. You have one against Petey Piranha, a Monty Mole, a Lakitu, a Giant Pokey, and of course, Massive Goomba. Just incredible. I'd have to say that this game is definitely top tier when it comes to boss fights. They are all completely out of left field and feel like an actual surprise to fight them when you get to the end of a castle. You never expect to need to blow up a tank in a Mario game, which is why I love these bosses so much. Everything is unexpected. Oh, by the way, Bowser's dead. Like, he burns to a crisp and fucking dies.
So nice.
Quick spoiler warning, just so you know, this game is 18 years old. You've had time to play it. Alright, time's up. In the final fight, Bowser Jr. literally puts his pile of bones into a rejuvenation cauldron to bring him back to life. Mario is an actual murderer. He killed a little turtle boy's father.
So nice.
The final boss is pretty cool, but my god is it easy. Besides bringing Bowser back to life, nothing of note really happens. You fight both Bowser and Bowser Jr. at the same time, which is the cool part. Other than that, you just kinda stomp the switch and they die.
So nice.
Princess Peach has been saved, and the day is won. And that was New Super Mario Bros. DS. Since this game was a bit of a return to form and celebration for the 2D Mario franchise, I'm alright with it feeling a little bare bones in certain departments. You have a perfectly normal length for a Mario game right here. All the original bosses are just incredible. The sheer ridiculousness of some of them is astounding. I love the Monty Mole in a fucking tank. Why does he have one? I don't know, why not? Let the guy do his own thing. The level designs feel nice and compact. Not too long, but not too short either. Absolutely perfect outside of a few miscellaneous stages. The Unagi will be in my nightmares tonight. The power-ups aren't this game's strong suit, outside of the blue shell, but that's okay. If there are no more blue shell fans on the planet, then I must be dead. This is my favorite power-up in any Mario game, hands down. Oh, the movement. It just feels so good in this game. After coming back and taking a look at everything this game has to offer, I can 100% say without a doubt that this is one of the best 2D platformers to ever exist. The sheer quality and fun that this game brings while being on the Nintendo DS never ceases to amaze me. The console is a thing of beauty, and also a weird little powerhouse when it needs to be. I'd like to thank you so much for watching this video. I apologize for not posting last week as it was my birthday, so I decided to take the time off and enjoy myself a little bit. I'll be making a little retrospective series of all the new Super Mario Bros. Games over the next little while. Each game has more to say about it as it goes on, so I hope you'll look forward to it as I will enjoy replaying all these games again. It's been years since I replayed them, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'd like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps me tremendously in the YouTube algorithm. I hope you have an amazing day and a great rest of your week. Bye bye.